One thing about science fiction that I really do admire is that it opens the doors of your imagination just a little bit wider. And you can imagine facing issues that we have in our real life context in the future, perhaps in an easier form. The real attraction here is the relationship, to me, is the relationship between Graf and Ender.
Right.
I'm both manipulator and mentor to him. I'm training him to assume military responsibility way beyond that that should be imposed on a young person, but the reality is that we're facing an impending threat to life on Earth from an alien force. And my perception is that the ends justify the means. But there are other more subtle thematics here, which really are important considerations for our lives right here, right now, in this political, historic space. And that's why I'm hoping young people will go to this movie with their parents, and parents will want to bring their young people to see this movie, because I think that it will generate questions and discussions which could be useful to the family.
There are still a lot of pinch me moments. I think with this film, the amount of talent that I was able to work with, both on screen and behind the camera, is phenomenal. And I really have been privileged, and to be able to play the title character in such a beloved story is so amazing. I mean, it is a bit nerve-wracking, and I really hope I've done it justice, but yeah, but just being in a room with all of those actors, let alone working in a scene of them, has been amazing. And simply observing them, watching what they do, you can learn so much, and you could take it into your next project and use all of that information that you've been given. In this case, in Ender's Game, there are so many themes and so many ideas which are so relevant today that you can go and see it with your friends, you can go and see it with your kids or your family, and afterwards have a really important discussion which needs to be had, whether it is about bullying, whether it's about leadership or children and warfare, morality, the list goes on. And the fact that the book was written 30 years ago and predicts all of these really important aspects of society is mind-blowing.
How was it working with Harrison Ford?
It was awesome. You know, at first I was so intimidated because he has, he has an exterior, but I think he's just messing with people. So he has kind of a hard edge that he presents, but it's only because he's messing with you, okay? But of course, me being the gullible person I am, I'm like, oh gosh, I love him. He's Indiana Jones and Han Solo, everything, you know? He's gonna be mean, he's gonna be egotistical. I mean, just the sweetest man in the world. I mean, he's always, he's always kind of poking fun. He has a very, very dirty mind. He tells a lot of dirty jokes. Harrison Ford does. And very generous.
It's like one master acting class. I mean, the learning doesn't stop. You're able to pick up on so much from them as actors and as people. I find working with Harrison, Sir Ben, and Viola, there was never a moment where they came to set and weren't giving 100%. Whether the camera was on them or not, they were always just giving forth everything for us, and they would do anything they could to help.
This is your first sci-fi film?
Yes.
How was it different to get ready for, prepare for, than your other films that you've done?
This role required the most physical preparation I've ever done for a role. So that was one thing. The second thing, coming off of 2 period pieces where I was just getting the hang of sort of using everything around you and taking advantage of everything around you because it's so specific due to that time, going from that to in front of a green screen with nothing around you except for your imagination, it allowed me to use my imagination in a way that I never had before. And that's why I loved this entire experience so much, was because I found myself doing something every day that I never, ever would have imagined that I'd be able to do.